With the dawn of a new year comes hope. Of sights set on a road that winds its way to every corner of the world. It's a road that leads to Indianapolis, Indiana, the homeland of the greatest racetrack in the world. The teams change, as do the drivers. The constant is the final destination, the Indianapolis 500-mile race. A chance to stand in victory lane.
Everyone, I'm Vince Welch. While it's cold outside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, the IndyCar season is about to heat up as the Indy Racing League opens in just days with the Indy 200 at Walt Disney World, presented by Aurora. Today, along with the voice of the 500, Bob Jenkins, we'll take a look at the IRL and its first season.
The Magic Kingdom, the home of Mickey Mouse, and an IndyCar race? That's right, the inaugural Indy 200 at Walt Disney World is set to take place Saturday, January 27th on the newly constructed 1-mile tri-oval just inside the main gates of the Magic Kingdom. The 200-mile event will feature a $1 million purse and will be televised live by ABC television.
Well, I think what's going to happen is probably one of the greatest venues and races to come off in the last quarter of a century.
Official groundbreaking ceremonies took place this past summer, as the Indy 200 at Walt Disney World will be the first event for the newly formed Indy Racing League, or IRL as it's better known.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the single largest spectator event in the world, and Walt Disney World is the #1 resort destination in the world. So putting the two together was just a natural fit for us.
The Indy 200 at Walt Disney World is designed to be the inaugural race in the IRL Championship Series that will now culminate each season with the Indianapolis 500 in May.
This is a novel situation, something that really I can't equate to anything that has happened in the history of motor racing, to have something called a league in motor racing. We have leagues in football and baseball and basketball and hockey and all that, but never really a league idea in motor racing.
The Indy Racing League will be an entirely oval-based series, the idea being to restore the heritage of oval track racing upon which the Indianapolis 500 was built.
Oval racing is obviously typically American. It was originally founded in the United States, and we've taken it to the highest level at Indianapolis. I don't think there's been quite enough emphasis on it over the years.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway has been a part of the motorsports world for 80 years now, and we take that very seriously, and we felt that in order to be around for another 80 years that we needed to take a hard look at where we were and at what level we were contributing.
With 3 races in its first season of operation, one of the primary goals of the IRL will be to encourage the careers of young American race drivers within the IndyCar ranks.
There's a pool of talent out there that far exceeds 20 drivers in this country who can make great Indy racing cars go around ovals all over the world.
I'm sad to see so many of our tremendous drivers ending up in NASCAR. It's a great series and I go to all their races, but they don't need all of the best drivers. I'd like to see a few of them come to open wheel.
The concern being that Indianapolis car racing was created near the turn of the century as oval track competition, that's what the Indianapolis 500 is all about, and that the door is shutting on American oval track aspirants hoping to get to Indianapolis.
I think it's going to be a good thing for a lot of the midget and sprint car drivers and championship dirt car drivers. It gives them a chance to go show people what they can do.
We're all in favor of the foreign drivers competing, but we need a good balance, and I think if we get more oval tracks, we'll start bringing some of the young Americans up who have learned their skills on ovals, and that's maybe one of the main reasons behind the IRL.
The IRL's objective of an oval-based series is predicated on the foundation that there are simply too many road and street courses presently offered. Often that leads to a lack of passing, which in turn translates to a lack of excitement for the spectators.
I'm not saying they're right or wrong, or that I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is what I believe, and it's what I've embarked on, and I've gotten a lot of support from people that believe the same thing.
That's what made Indianapolis oval racing. It wasn't the street racing, you know, good road courses, but you know, street racing, all that's Formula One, and that's not Indy type of racing.
We think that there are more than just 15 markets in the United States. The United States has almost 300 million people. There were 15 races in the IndyCar series 50 years ago, and I think that this is an expansion of racing. It's good for racing, and I think that anybody who thinks that the two series is bad, you know, would have thought that expanding the NFL beyond eight teams was bad back in the 1960s when the AFL came along.
The differences between the present kart format and the IRL are numerous. No franchise fees are charged to teams in the IRL, and the idea for this in future years is a reduction in costs, making racing more affordable to the smaller teams.
We think that while racing is, and IndyCar racing particularly, is always going to be an expensive sport, it's now gotten to the point that the dollars are more a factor than all the other elements that go into the program. And the way you do that, or the way our solution for solving that, is we want to reduce the total cost of racing cars out on the track.
Beginning in 1997, the IRL will switch to normally aspirated V8 power plants, intended to slow speeds and cut costs. Switching to the production-based 4-liter motors found in some passenger cars will eliminate turbochargers and pop-off valves, and allow teams to work on their own engines, while encouraging more manufacturers to join the Indianapolis car ranks.
We don't want the technology to disappear, but we want teams and drivers, when they come to an Indy Racing League race, to feel that they're rolling out on a field, they've got an equal opportunity. If they perform well, they've got a chance to win a race.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the facility that will play host to the very first Indy Racing League event, the Indy 200, at the brand new Walt Disney World Speedway. We'll see the first tests on the track and get driver reactions to the new speedway. For months now, the racing world has anxiously awaited the debut of the 1996 racing season, a season that kicks off January 27th with the inaugural Indy 200 at Walt Disney World.
In just a few short days, the Indy cars will line up in front of better than 50,000 racing fans, each hoping to become the first to complete 200 laps around Walt Disney Speedway's very unique 3-turn.
Well, I think it's going to be a very good racetrack. I think it's going to be a very good spectators racetrack.
It's a tricky little track. There's a lot of kinks in there that you think can go through there wide open, but it's taking me time to get through there wide open.
I think it's very challenging because it has three completely different corners.
It's got little bits of all ovals that we race on. There's one corner that's similar to one in Phoenix. 2 is definitely a Disney corner. It's got a little bit of hump going into it that makes it pretty interesting, and it's a different circuit.
I would call turn 2 is the old dirt tracks like at DeQuoin, Illinois. It's a tricky little corner, but I think it's a very good corner.
You're going to name 2 the Disney corner?
That's it. It is definitely the Disney corner.
It's turning a lot. There's a lot of turns here, so it's very short.
It's going to be very fast. Turn 3 looks to be a very fast corner.
It's going to be a good racetrack. I think it'll be a lot of racing going to happen on it, a lot of passing.
Eddie Cheever was busy on the new surface. Team Menard anxious to continue the momentum gathered from last year's pole-sitting effort at Indianapolis.
I'm very excited about running more races, and 5 races for me for this year. The first time that we're going to run a full season is just about right, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Of course, one of the primary reasons the Indy Racing League was formed was to give young American-bred oval track drivers a forum for showcasing their racing skills. One of those reaping immediate rewards from the new league is super modified standout Davey Hamilton. He'll drive for 4-time Indy 500 winner A.J. Foyt.
A.J. Foyt's the best teacher I think I could ever have, and I'm really excited of being here. The guys are excited, so we look forward to having a good, successful year, and I'm being taught by the best.
So you got the kind of magic you think you can turn into a champion?
Well, I think he does. You know, he's won races before. He knows what it takes to win, and that's what he wants to do, and that's what we want to do.
Hamilton was running strong in his bid to qualify a year ago at Indianapolis before a practice crash left him with a broken ankle. He nearly qualified anyway and is pumped up about the opportunity to be a part of the IRL.
I'm excited about the IRL and being here, and you know, I want to just be a race car driver, and I think the IRL is bringing opportunity to guys like myself who run super modifieds, midgets, and sprint cars, and I think if it wasn't for the IRL that I would still be on the outside looking in, and I just thank AJ for giving me that call and giving me a shot at this thing.
Yeah, so we're back together again. It's unbelievable. My son was leading through...
While giving America's young drivers their chance is one of the primary goals of the series, it's not at the expense of excluding the foreign element. Five-time Formula One winner Michele Alboreto will drive one of Dick Simon's Ford-powered Lolas.
For me, it's much more difficult the oval, so at the moment I'm here just to be confident with the team, try to understand the car, and to be close enough to the wall without touching. So that's the target.
Well, Michele is a true winner, in my opinion. You know, he missed winning the championship in Formula One a couple of times by only less than a point, half a point or something like that. And when you get into that type of caliber of driver, you're very quick to adapt in any kind of a car. Michele is fit into that same mold. He did very well in the European type Formula One races and jumped into the Indy car last time here, and he's having fun.
Though Dick Simon recently sold his 51% share of the team to Andy Evans, Dick has signed on as chief engineer and general manager of what is now known as Scandia Simon Racing, Inc. While Mexico's Carlos Guerrero is slated to run the kart circuit, Chile's Eliseo Salazar will represent the team in the ovals only IRL.
The venues that IRL has are unbeatable, you know, like Disney World, Vegas, so good for marketing opportunities. So I think it's going to be maybe a difficult year in the sense that everything is new, but I hope it's going to be a great season.
An incredible fourth for Simon at the Indy 500 a year ago as a rookie. Salazar will run the complete Indy Racing League schedule in 1996, in addition to all the ovals on the PPG IndyCar World Series schedule.
I believe he could have won Indy this last year, but he got caught up in the restart, 8 laps to go from the end, and ultimately ended up finishing 4th because of a mistake on the restart. I think he's got a lot of that behind him now. And I think if you were to rerun that restart last year that caused him to finish 4th instead of 1st, I think you'd find a different Salazar. He's got that much more confidence going into this year.
Proud owner of a brand new sponsor in Lifetime Television, Lynn St. James will also run a complete IRL schedule for Scandia Simon Racing. In 1996, the sky's the limit.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to say that I could, win the Indy 500 or have certainly a strong finish there. I mean, my goal is to win the Indy 500, to be the first woman to do that. This year there's going to be one Indy 500, so that's where I intend to try to put a lot of effort on. But at the same time, I'd really like to have podium finishes in some other races.
While the race itself will be the highlight of the week, it won't be the only racing fans will be treated to during their stay at the Magic Kingdom. A Formula 2000 race has been added to the festivities. IndyCar qualifications precede the Formula 2000 race on Friday. It all gets underway next weekend when the excitement coming from the Magic Kingdom gives way to the roar of the IndyCars. And the magic that is Walt Disney World will turn another new page.